Hello and welcome to another new year. I am so excited to be bringing these predictions to you. It's been a while since I've done a video predictions, and I wanted to start off the new year in the right way. And I have lots to divulge and disclose to you guys, so I hope you are as excited as I am to get started. Now, if you are new to the Mooniverse or the Moon channel, please welcome yourself to this video. Bring your energy in. You are very much safe and accepted here. So we all embrace you in love. I hope that you obtain some kind of wisdom and knowledge for this new year and be better prepared for what it's going to bring. But before we get started on this journey together, I do want to explain how I go about getting the predictions in the first place. So I sit with my own spirit team, my guides, my master guides, Jesus, any kind of energy that wants to step in and divulge or disclose any information, especially on the main questions that I ask. I also get with the GFL, the Galactic Federation of Planets, my planet Kalinia, my council, but I do this in a remote viewing kind of way. This allows me to go anywhere in any space that will allow my energy to be there to divulge any information that I seek. So that is how we obtained these predictions for the year 2025. Last year, I discussed the numerology of 8 for the year 2024. This year, we are in the energy of the numerology number 9, which is ending a cycle and starting a new one, removing toxic energy and starting a new energy in rebirthing. The number 9 is also completion of one phase of life and the beginning of a new cycle. So we are getting away from the old programmed patterning of dealing with things and how we behaved through situations. And we're now bringing ourselves into a new energy. And you definitely can feel this as the old administration politically leaves and the new one is starting to take its place. There's a new revitalized energy of new things coming that originally weren't changing, and now we're going to see those things change. Planet-wise, the number 9 represents the planet of Mars, which is a very aggressive and powerful energy. And you're going to see that within the year 2025. The number 9 also brings in a courage, leadership, and determined energy, which again, you're going to see this with this new administration. It's conquer, tackle, take down, aggressively changing things that no longer serve us as a society of humans dealing with things that we once used to deal with. There's an optimistic energy and love to the number 9 as well. You're going to see humanitarian energy coming into foreplay here and people wanting to help others in significant ways. So there's this love and optimism of energy taking place within the first 3 months and really taking off into the 6th mid-year month onto the rest of the year. So let us get into the predictions themselves. My very first one is the discussion of the fallen stars from the sky. I mentioned this in 2019, and I believe a little bit in 2018. I predicted this, that the stars represent the celebrities that we as humans have put on high up into the sky. These stars will start falling from the sky, and they have. And we've seen this in recent years, but it is really going to hit a high and really take focus in the year 2025. We're going to see a lot more of these celebrities just falling from their pedestals and no longer get sucked into their nonsense and what they want us to perceive when we are really starting to see what's really going on under the surface, because they can no longer hold up those shenanigans or that persona anymore. The truth is starting to come out, and it's breaking us free from the magical whimsy that they've had us under for so long. Now, I recently did a video on the drones, which you can find on my channel here if you want to learn a little bit more of what was disclosed to me by the GFL and the White Hats as to what exactly those were. Now, I've recently gotten back with the White Hats and the GFL, as well as my council at Calinia, and they've all kind of confirmed as a unison that these drones are going to start taking on a life of their own. It's almost like a holographic project that's going to take place. I kept seeing these drones being modified and projecting holographic UFOs, and I believe this is where that false invasion is going to start taking place. And the 3 days of darkness that I kept bringing up in 2015, 2016, what that means for us as a society and what we need to be aware of. And again, I hadn't heard about it in a couple years, and it suddenly started resurfacing that the 3 days of darkness again correlate with this false invasion. When it comes to these drones with the holographic projection, I do see that shadow government pushing an agenda of the old COVID shutdown, of state of emergency. We need to keep everybody safe and in their houses. I do believe that they do this so that people aren't recording, they're not catching on that they're holograms, because there's going to be glitching, there's going to be stuff happening. They can't contain it to the point where they think they can, and people are catching on of like, shit, this ain't even real. This is like, this fake. Like, what the hell? And this is where this awakening happens, which then allows the real UFO aliens to step down from their ships and approach certain people in the new alignment government, the new administration energy, which they know will be embraced happily with this change. And I saw contact being made very shortly after this false invasion to help humanity realign and understand what the shadow government's been doing. They do a lot of disclosure, and they basically call these individuals out and say to them, listen, this is not going to happen anymore. We're telling humanity who you are. We're going to put that in their sights so that they can see who you've been this whole time. I just see this strong alien presence taking place on Earth. But it starts out small. It starts out with little groups contacting certain government individuals that they know they can trust because they've been observing this whole time, and contracts are being made. There's this documentation happening where there's agreements taking place and promises being made that, you know, you're not here to do bad things. We want that in writing. It's the human way of trying to deal with it. The aliens are like, okay, if this is what you feel comfortable with, I guess we'll just go along with it because this is what you're used to. But we're not here to hurt your society. We're here to help. And if you want that in writing, let's do that. That's fine. Whatever you're comfortable with. Seeing these conversations and these group meetings taking place and what was being discussed. This is all coming together in 2025, where people are going to start becoming so awakened, so aware of the falsehood and programming they've been under for so long. And this seems to be the pivotal steps that brings them there. As people wake up, they are going to start fighting back. I mean, it's aggressive, and it goes back to that numerology number 9, where these individuals start to really get very focused in on anger and just feeling stupid because they've been under this mirage or illusion for so long, and they're angry at who had placed them there. So I did see a lot of picketing and signs and people rioting in certain areas where they felt held back or held down. This really spews up between the 6th and 8th month. This really takes off, and I see a lot of people just coming out of their houses and voicing and giving themselves a voice where they felt like they couldn't have one before. Now, the biggest question on everybody's mind lately has been, will TikTok be banned? Is this really going to go through? I do see the amendment of being able to express your voice and your opinions and what you believe you need to say in a social media platform, that being held back like a mask or a hand on your throat, like shut up, stop talking. And this is the reason why it's being banned. I also brought to the GFL that I felt it very curious that they were doing this the day before Trump takes office. Now, I do see Trump, he does start fighting back, fighting for the people on this platform who have worked really hard with their businesses, mainly on TikTok, and using that platform to grow their businesses. Now, I see a lot of people getting very angry, again, fighting back and doing little mini riots against who has tried to ban them from this platform. I do see it somewhat shutting down for a very short time. But as he goes into office, he is able to somehow maneuver, maybe with Elon. I see Elon being in the mix of this, bringing it back to light, bringing it back to the people that truly would like it to be back in their lives. I do see TikTok not being good in some form, but I also see it being very positive in many other forms. It's almost like the light is outweighing the dark on this. I do see a lot of souls using it for good because we are in that energy of the numerology number 9 of love and optimism. That old administration and all the old administrations before it just kind of caused conflict, division, and tried to separate people and get them angry and argue and fight. Whereas this new administration is showing people to come together, to show love, embrace kindness and compassion towards one another, and fighting for everybody's freedom to be who they are meant to be. This next prediction kind of caught me back a little bit. I was like, how is he going to do this? This is kind of amazing. But I did see Trump wiping out the debt of the banks. And it's almost like there is this push and pull energy. He basically sends all the banks a warning that they are to wipe out all debts that are collected within their banks. This means credit cards, student loans. It just seems like all kind of debt. You'll notice that Spirit, as I'm on the right track with divulging information, they will crack or move stuff in my room, and I don't know if we caught that very loud noise. When I was giving a prediction earlier in this video, I heard the window and some other things to the left of me crack as well. So I feel like this is very confirmed. They're showing that confirmation by cracking the corner of my wall over by my desk. He is basically telling these banks, we have taken care of it. The debt is done. The debt is paid. And by you not upholding your end of the bargain or the agreement, you are causing more chaos and rifting between the government and the people that we're trying to help. That if you do not abide by this new rule, shut your bank down. You're done. Like, he is not joking around. He's not messing around. He is basically saying, you abide by my rules or you're done. We're closing you down. I thought this was very amazing because I see him just wiping out the debt. It's been paid off somehow. When I first started getting predictions about Trump, Spirit and God himself had shown me that he was to be the energy of milk and honey, that America was the new Israel, and that he was to bring the energy of prosperity back to the land. And I do believe we're going to see a lot of that happening in 2025. We're seeing this embrace to bring abundance back to the people that have been stolen from them for so long. And it's going to be a little rough at first. He's going to hit some roadblocks. He's going to hit some conflicts within this new setting and this new level of trying to adjust what he's trying to do, which is why 2026 seems so much better to me. I get such an amazing energy from 2026 that this is just the baby steps that get us to 2026, which is like super amazing. And then it just takes off from there, 2027, 2028, 2029. And then we're in the new shift of 2030, which is like a whole new ball game for humans and what they're going to experience here on Earth. However, by him dealing with these things on such a tackling scenario of it's my way or the highway, there is a close attempt on his life. The dark shadow government is fed up with him giving so much freedom to the people, that he's been giving so much back to the people, that they have controlled and misillusioned everybody this whole time, and he's realigning and bringing things back to the surface that has been lost for so long. This is not going to happen. We're going to try to take him out, but I don't see it happening. Like it just, he is untouchable. He is under such a strong spiritual protection because this has to happen. These things have to take place to bring humanity back to where it needs to be. And he's just kind of putting all the missing pieces to the puzzle that have been lost, so to speak, back in place so that there's a full picture of the people, not the government, that this is about the people, not the government. And he's just flipping the roles here. He's bringing back that power back to the people. And he's basically untouchable through Spirit's eyes. He's so protected that anything they try to do won't take place on this timeline that I'm seeing. I also seen for 2025 a large food shortage taking place, and this is the shadow government's way of trying to keep that control. And of course, this new administration has had enough. They start doing things to keep food in place. There's going to be a lot of contracts and documentation on this end as well, because of the fact that they try to control the trucks bringing food. There's some kind of like stopping the food from coming into our areas, doing something with farms and people that own farms. I see this like pushback of, no, you're not doing that, or physically taking the food and having assigned people, hired people to take the food and hide it and store it somewhere else so it can't get to grocery stores and stores that need to put these things on their shelves. I also saw a breaking down of lab created food. They're doing stuff to food that's made in the laboratories. Now, originally, this kind of goes hand in hand with your 3D printers. The 3D printers for society's future timeline is the replicator systems. Originally, the plan is that these replicator systems will go in every home, every business. It will be everywhere. It will outlaw poverty. It will outlaw money. But eventually humanity has to get there. So they have to start out somewhere. And the baby step is these 3D printers, which are making things for you. They're even helping you with businesses where you can create things and sell these things, which allows others to buy from you, which then brings you money. But the lab created food, when I saw it, I was like, wow, that kind of reminds me of the replicator systems, like how they kind of started out. Because the food for the replicator system doesn't originally taste the same as if you would home cook it. When you are at home and you make a dinner for yourself, it definitely tastes different than when you're going out to a restaurant and eating. It just doesn't compare. The food you make at home is just, I don't know, there's just a so much better level to it. You put love into it, you put work into it, and for some reason it just tastes better than going out to a restaurant. And yeah, it's great to go out to a restaurant and try somebody else's food, but there's just something about home cooked food, right? Eventually, the lab created food becomes a coding for the replicator system, where they're using a code to place into the replicator system to create this exact aroma and taste. There's glitches. There's going to be problems, people getting sick from it. A lot of these lab created areas and companies are going to see a lot of lawsuits and closing down. It's going to start out rough because it's in the wrong hands. That's key. That's key right there. It's in the wrong hands. When it finally gets into the right hands, it's used for the benefit of humanity and put into this replicator system eventually, not right now, but that's where we're going with this. And right now, it's not in the great of hands. Eventually, it's going to be, and we'll see a lot of benefits and possibilities with it when that happens and changes hands. Which is leading me into my next prediction, which we are going to talk about Elon Musk. We are seeing him everywhere, and it kind of allowed Trump to bring him on site. He has known Elon for a very long time, and he knows what Elon is capable of. He's bringing him more into the field of politics because it has gone wrong for so long, and he knows Elon has the mindset to bring it to a better concept with his assistants. Like they're like teaming up on this, okay? So I did see this teaming up. Things are going great. Now, I talked about AI back in 2015. I did divulge that there would be these AI brothels where these robots look very human, very beautiful, and men tend to get their love from these robots. They don't want to deal with housewives and arguing and drama. So they start to go to these robotic women. And we're going to see in the next 3 years this coming to the surface where these robots are looking more like humans. And you are going to have a hard time distinguishing between what's real and what isn't. We are also going to see that men want to marry or get into relationships with these robotic women. We're in the timeline of everything's kind of being accepted. Sexual preference, how a person identifies with themselves and who they believe them to be. I believe this is why when it goes to court or it goes to the Supreme Court, this becomes acceptable where a man can marry a robot or a female can marry a robot. Many cases coming into court where people are either being denied based on who is ruling, and many that are being accepted based off who is ruling, who the attorney is, and how are they pleading the case? Like, how well are they good at their job? With that said, however, I am seeing a lot of the AI in the wrong hands, just like the lab created food, the meats being created right now, brings Elon to the surface, taking a leadership role in this field because he feels it is in the wrong hands. They are not taking proper care or responsibility for this technology. It's being used in not so great ways. And we're already seeing that with the drones right now. Like, that's prime example. He does not take this very well. He starts getting frustrated. He starts getting upset. And I do see this like brewing on the inside coming to the surface. So we will see like wellness issues with his stress coming to the physical, which he didn't usually have that before. He's been very kind of laid back and calm, but he's so fed up with this past government and the shadow government and the elites and what they have done. He's so fed up with it that it starts to actually activate within his physical field, and we will start noticing health issues with him. Though he does get it taken care of, he gets with the proper doctors, physicians, wellness people, holistic people. He gets with the proper channels, and he does get better. He does overcome all of that, and he's better able to conquer his stress in a more productive way because he gets with certain ideal creative people that put him onto a better road when dealing with these shadow elite individuals who are taking AI to the wrong path. And he's warned about this many times, that if you are not careful, it can destroy humanity. And he's so right. And that's where the elite's trying to take it. They are trying to destroy humanity with it, and he's trying to benefit humanity with it, which I believe he is the beginning steps to the replicator systems and what we do with AI. I do believe that his hand is in that cookie jar of helping humanity get rid of poverty, to get rid of having to deal with money in those ways where these AIs are bettering our life, so we don't have to rely so much on the government for these things, and we don't have to be controlled, but rather we are taking charge of our own lives and not depending on someone else to take care of it for us. My next prediction is more global, big earthly things happening. The earthquake I saw within the 3rd to 5th month was a big earthquake that kind of started near a coastal water area, and I'm getting Northeast European over that way. And this kind of energy kind of ripples over into America, but it's more energetic. It's not like physical earth shattering. It's more energetic, where we are feeling the sadness of what this earthquake has caused on a drastic scale, because I see lots of water kind of just coming at this area, and all these people are devastated. They lose a lot of things. They lose loved ones. How are they going to take care of themselves now? Things have been destroyed. They've lost a lot. And I see global prayers being sent. I see a lot of coming together in love and kindness, and donating, and money being sent, and programs being started to help these people. It's amazing how humanity comes together. And I don't know if it's this new administration kind of bringing this energy to the surface, but it's remarkable to kind of watch and see this. I'm just sitting back and just like in awe at how many people came to the aid of those certain countries. Now, I wasn't seeing the people in the countries, I believe, because the timeline shifts. I believe that it starts in one country, but it eventually shifts to another country. This all depends on what is going on in those countries. Earth-shattering, devastating things that happen on Earth happen to certain countries for a reason. It's either to kind of start over with their energy, where everything's wiped clean, cleansed, whatnot, whatever, through fire, through water. Now, some of these things do happen through the shadow government, where they're causing it themselves. This is methodical and evil. What I'm talking about is actually natural. It's happening naturally. The GFL had explained to me that this is a cleansing process, that whichever country on that coastal region gets hit, it is to bring them together, to bring timelines and contracts into honestly, I just see two hands coming together and hands joining all over the world on this timeline. And that timeline leads us to another better timeline. It branches off, and it's amazing. So don't think that it's like malicious or mean. They want you to think of it in a way of it's happening for a reason, and it's happening for an amazing reason. Yes, it's devastating to watch, but in the end, it's going to bring so many better things to the surface that wasn't there before. 2025 is going to look very different for many, many people. The timeline individually as opposed to collectively is going to look very different for everybody. I want to do a separate video on this exactly, because there's a lot to discuss and say about it. But what I saw was a lot of ego death. And if you don't know what ego death, it means that you're shedding a part of yourself that was programmed originally through birth and through growing up. And this concept of realizing that you have not been who you wanted to be, and that you were taking on a protective persona in order to continue living with that program. But I am seeing a breaking down of those programs and those personas in the year of 2025, where people are in a very vulnerable state of mind, because the things that once worked for them before isn't working anymore. The theme for 2025 is refusing to live with less than what your life is meant to be lived with. It's not settling anymore. It's breaking free, whether that means breaking out of a situation, removing yourself from someone's influence and toxic behavior. There is a vulnerability there where you were so used to certain things. And now that that's changing, you're questioning where do you go now? You're scared, the fear kind of kicks in. The video I want to do is to help you realize that you don't have to stay in that vulnerability or stay stuck, because once you get into that vulnerability, and many of you might already be in that vulnerability now, you don't have to remain stuck. That there is a whole other concept to this that you may not be seeing, and I will be doing a follow-up video from this video for an individual concept understanding. This is more of a collective global. I want to do more of a deep dive individual understanding with all of this prediction. I also seen new star seeds coming to Earth. There's a lot of them here. And when I say new star seeds or new souls, these are souls that haven't really been on Earth, but have asked to come assist. And you're seeing this with the second wave of volunteership, which I am the second wave, and the third volunteership, which is these young children that are just completely amazing. They have an extra DNA strand. They don't have the same mindset as a regular human would, that has been reincarnating here on several levels and many, many times coming for their own learning. These are souls that agreed to come and support. That was the key point in all this. Humanity hasn't had a support system in that way. And now we're seeing that there is a support system where these certain souls with these extra benefits to help humanity are coming and helping and assisting. Many of them are here. I'm here. Many of them are here. They're here to support this huge shift and change that you are currently on. You can still be in third dimension, but you are definitely on a shift, and you're really going to see this shift take place in 2025 if you have not already. And if you found yourself watching this video, you are already shifting, and you may already be in the fourth dimension. And the fourth dimension to me is just questioning everything. Things that you were so programmed to believe, you are now questioning. And that's the fourth dimension. That is you taking on a more different persona, a persona that's more you, who you are meant to be this whole time. But you've kept that part of yourself hidden because you've been programmed to believe to do as such. There's a breaking out of control and you changing the destiny of where you want to be in life, not what somebody else wants you to be in life. In 2024, most people have been in their lives feeling a rut and isolation, a feeling of no movement and being stuck. 2025 is about breaking down those personas, as I mentioned. But this isolation implies that you are working on something that you haven't really fully seen develop yet, but it's in the development stages. You're just not realizing you're in the development stages. You're basically under construction right now. You're in the constructing works of being more of who you are. And this is why you felt so vulnerable, isolated, and stuck, and just felt like you were in a rut, especially with things that you wanted to do. You may even see things as unattainable, things that you've been wanting for a long time being unattainable. In 2025, you're going to see yourself breaking free from that mindset and starting to obtain those things. Another thing that I started noticing is a lot of people are all about reading the Bible now, making prayer boards where they're putting envelopes up on boards for certain prayers they want to place in. So like an envelope could say work, another envelope could say kids, another envelope could say love. My guy just chimed in and said one for health. They're putting prayers into these envelopes. It's almost like a manifestation board, but for prayer manifestation. That these prayers and intentions are being sent to these certain categories in their life. I am seeing this more than I am seeing manifestation boards. It's more of a prayer intention. We've been so far away from God. We've been so far away from Jesus. We feel completely unplugged from that energy that we now feel with this new energy coming in, which is the big trumpet blaring its energy all through Earth's vibration, and this new administration bringing this collaborated energy with all different countries and bringing everyone together, that we now are plugging back in to what's been missing. Jesus has been the key factor of unplugging and now trying to replug in, because we've been programmed to be distant from that. Now it's being called back to you. I believe a lot of people think that plugging into the Bible is the way to go, but it's more of taking on a relationship with that energy and bringing it into your everyday life through reading certain sentences or paragraphs within the Bible, that there's this aha moment of, okay, I don't need this book so much, but I need a realization of what I need to be doing every day with this energy and this vibration, and plugging back into it and allowing it to help me, and shedding this protective persona and becoming who we are through these different modalities and these different means of resurfacing that spirit essence of who we really are and who we've been this whole time, that has been taken from us. Our true identity as we came into birth was replaced with something that was false and not who we are meant to be. Again, this brings us back to the new energy of 2025 of there will be no more settling. It is going to be down to the wire of, this is an energy of risk taking, that you are putting all of your eggs into your basket, not spreading it out amongst others. You are going knee deep into this new energy of not settling for less, but you understand that you deserve more and you're going after that. You are taking this year's energy and adapting it to this new path that you are on. And I will again go into this more when I do that individual predictions video and what you guys are dealing with on an individual level. Because not everybody is working with this energy, but those of you who resonate with what I'm saying, this is a time to watch that video when it comes out to better understand how you can adapt what I'm saying to your life so that you can get through that path a lot better and more at ease, rather than feeling stuck and isolated and alone and vulnerable. The other prediction I want to mention is your buck going further. For a very long time, we've been noticing that our money is not getting us anywhere. We are constantly struggling to pay bills, get food. You will start to notice this getting better in the first half of the year, but getting so much better towards the end. It's almost like it's taking its baby steps to align, and you'll start to see your money stretching further than it has been before. This abundance and this prosperity is starting to fill your life up, and you will be able to obtain things that you weren't able to obtain before. This is the time to start setting goals and doing like a manifestation board to see where those energies take you. I also want to mention the Mooniverse membership on Patreon under Moon Air is changed completely. So those of you who are being pulled to work with more biblical energy and getting a closer relationship with heaven, spirit, Jesus, angels, your guides, I have adjusted the tiers to focus in mainly on those things. So if you've been really wanting to dive deep into the Bible and actually properly understand it, because a lot of people read it, they don't understand to adapt it. A lot of it's been altered and changed. So my goal with the tier benefits in Patreon is to give you guys a better concept of what's being told through the stories that teach you things that you need to know. The Patreon has completely did a facelift, and I've even adapted a tier for those of you who are really deep into astrology, cosmic knowledge, cosmic disclosure, but also really like getting readings and wanting to know what spirit has to say to you. So there is a tier that is called Moon Circle or Sacred Moon Circle that has both astrology and readings. It's kind of an astrological magi energy that's being placed into that tier. So if you're not really into the Bible stuff, but you really want to get into astrology, every month there's going to be an energetic astrology cosmic disclosure that will go over what to expect for the month. But you're also getting readings as well that are very personal, very individual, adjusted and aligned for you to better understand how your week, your days, your months are going to go for you. So go check out the Moon Air Mooniverse membership on Patreon to get all those disclosures, get all of that information, and get a closer walk with who you are meant to be, tapping back in to that spirit energy, especially with God and what he has to say for your life. I wanted to make this video very focused, very precise, very to the point, and I hope that you are enjoying the predictions, some of them a little rough around the edges, but we do see all of this kind of smoothing out in the middle to end of the year, and especially going into 2026. It's going to be such an amazing feeling, getting away from such toxic behavior, situations, events that we have endured, that we are embracing this new loving, compassionate kindness that I think is going to be such a wonderful year to get into. I'm excited to see where it takes us. Yeah, we're going to have some like funky, weird stuff happening that you're just going to be like, you know what, this doesn't even faze me anymore. This is just, with the last 4 years being as crazy as they've been, this doesn't faze me, whatever. But it is going to get a little bit weird, but it does eventually kind of smooth out, and we're not getting so much as like, what the hell is happening kind of energy. We're going to see a lot of change, and we're going to accept those changes and adapt those changes into our lives willingly, because they are going to benefit our lives much better. Yes, it starts out rough. We're going to have a little bit of a tough haul there in the beginning, but if you be patient and wait it out, it will be so much better for you in the end. If I get more, which I definitely eventually do, I'm still in that prediction stage of energy. I will make another follow-up prediction video for you guys. I also want to tap into Kate Middleton's energy as well. I recently saw some videos of her amongst the family during Christmas time, and I thought, that's interesting. Let's tap into Kate Middleton's energy and see what's going on there. So I will be doing a Kate Middleton clones video for you guys and what's going on with the royal family. I want to take a moment to thank all of my Patreon followers. Thank you guys for your deep support and all of the time and effort and finances you're putting into your journey, making it ascend to better heights. I have seen so many of these souls from 2-3 years back that have been on the Patreon just excel, and they're doing great things. They're becoming who they're meant to be, and they're using that information and that energy to better their lives. So I want to take a special shout out to all of you guys for taking that initiative and that first step, and you guys just really honing in every single month and not giving up. You guys are the true winners of your own lives. And I can't wait to see what the new year brings to us in Patreon, in the Mooniverse membership. It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited to even get started. So bye for now. I will see you guys soon in those next videos. Grab yourself a nice little cup of joe. Enjoy the snow if the snow is around you. Get a good book, light some candles, play some cozy music, and just embrace who you are becoming. Embrace this new year. Allow yourself to be loved today, especially because you're starting a new energy, and your soul needs a minute or two to kind of embrace that new vibration. Take a couple moments today. Take a couple moments tomorrow. Do a little bit of prosperity and financial rituals to kind of get your year started in the right direction of where you want it to go. I would even go as far as journaling exactly the goals that you want to see for your life. Don't just say, I want more money. Understand that this energy is listening to you, and it needs to know exactly what you want it to do. I would like more money towards food, or I would like more money towards my bills. Be precise and do it within the next day or two. While this energy is fresh and new and everybody's in that heightened celebration vibration, this is the best time to use that energy for your own benefits, for your individual life. Use it now before it starts calming down. I thank you guys so much for being here, supporting my channel, supporting my mission, listening to all of this, being better prepared for your year. This is going to be a great year. Let's make it a great year. I'll see you then.